Once again, this is Brandon Balderas from Borrachos Apparel. We're here at Trucking for Kids, the 34th annual here in Irwindale, California. And we're just cruising around a lot, and we come across this beautiful Pete. This is the first time I've ever seen it, and I'm like a truck nut, but what's up? And we're here with Jerry. And why don't you tell us about this beautiful truck that you own?
It's an '01 Peterbilt 379. We bought it actually out of Fontana, California, probably 15, 20 years ago. Ran it for quite a while just up in Washington. That's where we're from. And we decided to go ahead and start decking it out. It was all white when we bought it.
Wow.
And so we've completely changed it. We've stretched it. It was 260. We stretched it out to 300. Had it custom painted. Back in 2011, we took it over to Pickett's in Marysville. They did about half the work that's done to it. And over the years, we've added things to it, quite a bit to it. We've added light bars, custom bumpers. A lot of that is done by Brad Powell up at Outlaw Garage Customs. And it's just what we do. So it's just kind of running flatbed with it. And we run heavy haul up in Washington and Oregon and Canada with it. We gross out at 105.5. If we're within 10 miles of Canada, they'll load us up to 140,000 if we're crossing the border. It's got a 550 cat C15, got a 13 speed behind it. Coming down here, we're only doing 80,000 down here, so it's actually kind of light for us. So we just kind of stream down here pretty easily. So, but yeah, that's about it. We've just started doing some work to it, and it's actually gonna probably get retired here, and we're just gonna run it to some shows now. We ended up buying a newer truck because we were tired of hassling with carb in California. We just had to break down and buy a new truck, and so that's what we did. So we bought a 389, and so that was the one. So this is actually the first cleanup we've had since we started running it last winter. We ran it up till the winter time, about March, April time frame. We took delivery of the other truck in May, and so we're still trying to clean it just from the winters that we have up in Washington and Oregon and Canada.
It's brutal compared to here.
It is, yeah.
It's like always summertime here in Southern California.
That's why usually October up there, we changed my wardrobe from short sleeve shirts to long sleeve shirts. We haven't done that yet because I knew I was coming down to California for a couple of weeks, so still haven't changed the wardrobe yet to long sleeves, so I'm still in short sleeves.
That's funny. Today it'd be considered a cold day because it's overcast, and you'd see people in scarves and stuff.
No, it's great for us. I mean, I'm kind of ticked off a little bit. We didn't bring any shorts, so that's the weather is crazy.
Well, why don't you give us a tour and tell us what's what on this beautiful truck of yours?
The truck's been bagged, so it's got a air ride by horse on the front. It's also got a flip bumper, so in case I get into too many low situations. The wheels are done by, he has them specially done by Pickett. So Kevin Pickett up in Marysville did those. They're big hold.
That's one of the first things I noticed was those good looking wheels right there.
Yeah, they're different. A lot of people are running them. Some people aren't. It just kind of depends.
I think it's cool.
The bumper was just done here within the last I'd say the last 2 or 3 weeks by Brad Powell. We had it to where we're putting the lights on the inside.
Yeah, I see that.
One of the problems I'm having is I'm so long and there's no way to see the churn when I'm churning on the left. So we stuck lights right in there so that hopefully people can see me when I'm turning left or right now. They have a little bit better of seeing us inside. So it's just, we got, the inside's been pretty much custom done completely. We tore it all out, took all the inside out, had it custom painted by Casey up in Lake Stevens. He's the one that also painted the truck. The stereo and the DVD player, we also have amps and everything in the back so that I get plenty of loud music when I need to hear it. Drown out some of the traffic when I don't want to hear it.
That's a really nice interior.
But all these are done. The fenders we did by Hogue Built. The light bars are all aluminum. As you can tell from our harsh winters, this is just 1 year of running, and it just kind of destroyed the light bar, so we've got to get those redone. All the paint and everything to match. We have an 89 Fontaine that we completely stripped down to the bare metal. This was 2 years ago because we were trying to get it ready for the show in Ventura last year.
Oh yeah.
So we completely stripped this trailer down We took everything off of it. We drilled holes for the more lights and added a brand new aluminum deck to it. We've had to run it a little bit this winter. Coming down here to California, we come down here about, I average maybe 4 times a year where I come down to California, so that's what this trailer gets used for.
Did you say this trailer's 1989?
It's a 1989
Wow.
Fontaine.
Do the math on that. This thing looks brand new still.
It's
Wow.
Since we redid it, it gets babied quite a bit. We replaced all the stake pockets, all the rub rails, everything on it was pretty much replaced. The whole back end of the trailer was rebuilt as much as we could do it. Just this year, we added the Hogue belt fenders and added different boxes to it. So the complete back of the trailer has been completely redone. None of it on the back is stock.
Wow, look at that.
So Heiser Body up in Seattle, Washington is the one that does the painting for it. I'm kind of an old school guy. My grandpa was one of the first original owner-operators with Global Van Lines.
Oh, yeah.
So I have pictures of him in like his 31, 32 GMC on my wall in my office.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's pretty cool. So I kind of relate back to the days of that. The first truck I ever bought was a 1990 Freightliner. And when my grandpa, a few years before he passed away, he said he never wished he would have got rid of the first truck he ever bought. So I still have it. It's still sitting at the back of my property. I have the first truck I ever bought, and kind of hoping to redo that one someday, but this one seems to take priority nowadays over that one. So
Good deal. This is a beautiful truck.
thank you.
Welcome to California.
Yeah, we're here for this show here, and then we're gonna go ahead and stay here for a couple weeks and go to the Ventura show.
The Dynaflex.
The Dynaflex show.
That's a great show.
Yeah.
Perfect location, literally next to the ocean.
Yeah.
You walk out of a show and there's the beach, and there's a hot dog guy there.
Yeah.
It's a good deal.
It's one of the reasons we like that show. It's just right on the water. It's, up there, my wife called me this morning, and, it's 49 degrees and raining, and so we're down here in the sun, where it's 70 degrees
It's probably
right now.
about 70 right now.
Yeah, so we're
And
loving
to us,
life.
it's cold.
Yeah, so yeah, we really like it here. So like I said, I've been trucking. I started when I was 17 years old in the Army. Trucked all over the world. I've trucked in Germany. I've trucked in Egypt, Israel.
Now that's awesome.
Holland, Korea. I've been everywhere and came back to the States. Tried to get a job, and nobody really wanted to hire me. I was, I think, 22 when I got out of the Army. And so I actually started with Schneider National Carriers when I was 22 years old. Drove for them for about a year and maybe a year and a half, and went to the bank. And, this is back when you had to have the money to get a truck. And so, my first truck was that 90 Freightliner. Cost me $40,000, and I had to put, I think, $12,000 down on it. And that whole year I was with Schneider, I just saved like crazy because I knew what I wanted to do.
Good for you.
And so I've been doing it ever since. So that's kind of my story.
So you said trucking all over the world. So in comparison to what we have here in America, to, you said, Egypt and Holland and things like that, what are some of the things that somebody here would be interested to know about trucking in those other countries?
Well, I got out, it's probably been, probably 30 years since I got out of the service, but I know one thing when I was trucking in Egypt, one of the biggest problems we had when driving in Egypt was we had such huge sandstorms that you couldn't even see the road. So you had no idea where the road was sometimes, compared to you just had to kind of go off the snow drifts, and sometimes you'd kind of see partial of the road. So that's quite challenging where they don't have this here. Germany wasn't too bad, but Germany in those days when we always drove in a convoy, and they always made us drive about 10 or 15 miles an hour. So the worst fear of driving in Germany was falling asleep.
Oh, definitely.
Because we always drove at night, and we always drove at 10 or 15 miles an hour. So, if you can imagine driving for 4 or 5 hours.
That's a turtle race.
At 10 or 15 miles an hour, your biggest fear was falling asleep. So it's like, that was probably the worst part about driving in Germany and Holland was just we'd always drive at night, and we always drove at 10 or 15 miles an hour.
Very strange.
That's the military, you know. You don't ask why, especially back then. I was a peon, you know. I didn't know nothing, you know.
I still am.
So you just kind of did what people told you to do, and that was it. So I pretty much haul for myself. I have my own authority. I use a broker, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 times a year. I have a pretty wide customer base, especially being up north. I have a lot of spring and summer customers, and then we switch over to our winter customers. And the biggest part of our deal is when it comes to be the end of winter and the beginning of spring, you still have all your winter customers that want to move all their stuff, and then you have your spring and summer customers that are trying to get their product in the stores as well. So at the end of winter and the beginning of spring is our biggest time, and right now when we're transforming from summer to fall is our biggest time. So yeah, I actually got a couple customers pretty mad at me for coming down here. So they were like, I told them I was going to be gone for about a week, and they were furious. So they were like, you can't leave, we have all this. And I'm like, hey, I planned this a while ago, so sorry, gotta go. So, but yeah, trucking's been great. Been doing it for years. That's all my kids know that I've been doing. You know, I love it, but you know, it's definitely not the same as it was when I first started, you know, 30 years ago driving trucks here in the States. You know, it's just, a lot has changed, and you got to kind of change with it, or you're going to get left behind.
They say evolve or get forgotten or left behind.
Yeah,
something like that.
And I've had a hard time with it. I'll be perfectly honest. I mean, I really dreaded buying a newer truck. I just didn't want to do it. I don't like the new emissions. I don't like the new computers. I don't like the ELDs. Fortunately for me, I don't have to run an ELD because we have a newer truck. I don't have to run it because I usually stay within 150 miles of my home.
Right.
So I'm one of the fortunate ones where I don't have to run the ELD, but I still got to do with all the new stuff that's coming out, you know. Everybody wants to do things on cell phones now. Everybody wants to email you. Everybody wants to know where you're at. Where are you at? When you getting here? You know, everybody wants to track you now. And it can be a pain, but you know, it's like you say, you either get with it and update all your stuff and start evolving, or you're going to get left behind. And unfortunately, I'm one of the ones that I put my feet in the ground and is like, no, I'm just doing it my way. And even me is, you know, as long as I've been doing this, I finally have had to say, all right, I'm going to have to evolve, you know. I'm going to have to get with the times, and that's just kind of the way it goes. So you may not like it, but you know what? That's just the way the future's going, and you either do it or you get left behind.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time and getting a tour of this awesome truck.
You bet. Anytime.
First time I've seen it, so thank you.
Thank you very much.